Hello, everyone. How are you? Susan Winter here. Happy holidays to all of you that are watching the live show today. And best wishes to Gwyneth, my wonderful moderator, who, though she has COVID in bed in Germany, is here doing her bit. Now that's dedication. All right, let's talk about the holidays. This, if you don't know where you stand with your partner, your new boo, your new lover, your new date, or even in an established relationship, the holidays are going to tell you everything, everything you need to know. The question is, are you included or are you excluded? If you're included, is it only to a certain tier, as in a couple of friends, one friend? I don't know, tennis buddies, whatever, yoga friends. Are you included with all the friends? Were you invited to the office party? Yes, some people still work in offices all around the world. And even more so, what was the nature of the discussion around the blackout dates when your partner is going to be gone? Were you told, I'm so sorry, before we started dating, I made this ski trip with my buddies. It's like we got the tickets 6 months ago, and it's really kind of a guy's trip, so we can't, let's you and I do something on our own. But as of this recording, we are looking at Thanksgiving has already happened, but consider that as well. So in America, we have American Thanksgiving, then we go into Christmas and Hanukkah. We have New Year's, we have Chinese New Year's, we have, Valentine's Day, and any other holiday that your country may be celebrating. The question is, for those of you in a new, undefined relationship, you will very quickly learn where you stand, according to the principles of inclusion or exclusion. In a relationship that is newly formed, to which you have been in agreement that you are officially a couple, you will also learn how much of a priority you are to your mate via inclusion or exclusion. This can be a painful realization for those of you who have the desire to go in progression to a more meaningful relationship dynamic. It can hurt to think that someone in your life that you place as a priority hasn't even considered to ask you what you're doing on Christmas. And the days are ticking away. And have they even thought to ask you for plans for New Year's? And you sit in that precarious position of thinking, I need to make plans because I'd like to do something. I don't want to be at home in my pajamas eating Haagen-Dazs. But at the same time, if I go and make plans and then suddenly they ask me, so this is where this transit is when you're newly with a lover and you don't feel comfortable speaking up about what you have and what you don't have. But you're also a little bit frozen because you don't want to make plans without them. So let's talk through some of the different scenarios, and I will give you different options for how to have these conversations or how to read what it is, what they're already showing you, what is already happening. In the meantime, if you have a specific question, put it in Super Chat. I will be grabbing questions as my eyes land on them, but if you really want me to answer you, do it now. I'll be checking out earlier because I just learned Gwyneth is not well, so we will not go for the full hour. So if you have a question, don't wait till the very last, okay? Does anybody, Alex Flips, okay, I adore Alex, and he told me that he couldn't really come on because he was working, but I guess he found a way to do it. But you can help too? Okay, fantastic, you're the best, Alex. So Gwyneth, if you want to check out early because you're not feeling well, so ask me, everybody, what's going on in your emotional life? Are you being included? It's a very difficult realization when you know that you have prioritized somebody and they have not prioritized you. Kylie says, I think being an introvert saved me. It saves many of us. I actually prefer my own company, and I turn down many invitations. And the problem with that is if you keep doing that too long, they just learn not to invite you. And so it's kind of a fine line. But for me, running as hard as I did the third and fourth quarter of this year, I limp my way back home to my home in the Southwest. I'm just like, oh God, thank God I don't have to go out tonight. Thank God I don't have to dress up. Thank God I don't have to have one more meet and greet. So, how do we know? All right, first of all, well, if you're not going to talk to me, then I'm just going to talk to you. All right, because I know people will be watching this on the replay. There are probably a lot of people traveling today. I don't know if you all remember it, but I think last year I actually recorded on either Christmas or Christmas Eve. And I thought there'd be 2 or 3 people. There were a lot of people. Now, here's the deal. Let's say it's early days. Okay. Have they extended any kind of invitation? Have they discussed at all plans for the holidays? Even beginning a discussion of, I can't get together with you, or these are my existing plans, shows at least they're considering you. They're considering you enough to let you know that they've got existing plans. Maybe they're not that sure how they feel about you. And for those of you who may be introducing your new partner to your family, you know that this is uncomfortable. Not everybody wants to meet the family. Some people do, some people don't. There are some people that don't want to go home to their family and feel that they must. So if you were invited to one thing and not the other, and the new partner that you have is going home for the holidays and hasn't said anything about inviting you, just understand that for most of us in most of our cultures, bringing somebody home to meet the family is a official introduction. It tends to be more than this is just somebody I'm casually sleeping with in most people's worlds. Just depends, okay? So people have a lot of forethought and think many times about this. Like they're thinking, okay, so Uncle Charlie gets drunk at about halfway through the afternoon and is really rude and might say some things to me that I don't want to hear. Do I even want this person to see my family? So you've got to know, are you being excluded because they don't even want to be with their family? Or are you excluded because they don't value you? Are you being excluded because they're not ready to make the statement? Not because they don't like you, but because it's going to bring heat from everybody else to give their opinion. Like, oh, really? You should have chosen somebody younger. You chose that? Oh my God. You picked somebody with that background? She is not of our religion. Why are you doing this? So it gets complicated. Maybe they are excluding you because they don't want you to meet their family because they know what they're going to have to deal with. But if you're at the point that you're even having discussions about who's doing what during the holidays, please, on your part, I beg all of you, don't let yourself be mired down in wondering. Don't be mute. Don't be silent. So many of you are afraid to ask. And I think you're afraid to ask because you're really afraid of what you're going to hear. You're going to hear something that's going to blow your story, your dream. And you don't want to. Right now it's beautiful and you want to live in the bliss and you want to live in the hope. But if this is a real partner that you can have a real relationship with, you will know those signs very early on. Why? They'll talk to you. I have a person that I've been chatting with now on my cell phone that had, I think last year or the year before last, been asking me out. It just never, we liked each other as people, but it was a no-go. It was a place I'd already been and I didn't need to go back to, and I couldn't see that it would be something that would be productive for either one of us. But he fell madly in love with this girl. And I'm very grateful for that because it's the first time I've ever seen him smile all the time. And she's not communicating with him. She goes quiet for 3 days a week. Now, He loves her madly. He's doing everything he can to get it back together. But you can't do anything with that kind of disposition. You can't be the only one. So here's an example of a couple that made it all the way to coupledom and is talking about moving in together, and the long-term plan is to get married. I mean, he's like, go, go, go. He loves this woman, committed, and doesn't want to bail just because he's in pain, because he wants to show, I'm going to fight for the relationship. I got your back. You can count on me. And I'm watching this because he's not allowed to speak up, and she refuses to speak. And I was explaining to him in our text messages, I hope she comes around. Maybe she needs to recalibrate. But here's the real issue. This isn't a one-off. This is your communication pattern. So for those of you who are afraid to test being honest and asking questions and being direct, you are really disallowing a foundation of honest communication, which is the glue that will keep you together as a couple, because it allows you to work things out and get to conflict resolution. People leave relationships because things never get fixed. They love the person, they keep fighting, breaking up, missing each other, getting back together, have sex, and this repeats and repeats and repeats. But things never get fixed. And eventually, no matter how much you love somebody, what happens is you realize, I can't work this out with you. And there is a slow erosion of our ability to sacrifice our emotional stability one more day. You get so worn down trying that for your own well-being, you have to bail. So in early days, when you don't want to, make it small, make it precise, and make it diplomatic. Hey, Christmas is coming up. Do you already have plans? Because if you don't, I'd love to do something with you. Now, what can you get? Yeah. I don't know, because kind of maybe I have my brother coming into town, and I don't know because I promised that I'd take my kids to, whatever, and so I have to see with, my ex if that's okay, and say, okay, all right. It's just that I've been seeing you. You're an important person in my life, and I like to mark the holidays with spending time with somebody that I care for. So I would be interested in doing something with you. If they don't invite you, you invite them and see how they take it. Now remember, if you've only been seeing each other for a while, they may already have plans locked in and don't know quite how to work you into it. Intuitively, I want you to really go inside yourself and be honest. Your intuition is about being honest too. It's not what you want to see, it's what you're really feeling. Could they make room for you, but they don't want to? Ask yourself that question. Okay, now let's talk about, I'm going to go on and read your questions first. I'm a desktop and there's a slide bar. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Oh, wait. Oh, darn it. I just moved the screen in a way that I cannot see any of your comments, and I don't know how to get back. I touched something and I do not know how to find the chat feature, and I am terrified to touch anything else. Oh my goodness. And I can't even read anything. Oh my goodness, what is this? I am terrified to touch any buttons here. Oh, what did I do, for God's sake? If I press a back button, I may lose all of you. Shoot. Let me see. It's oh God, and I do not know how to do this. Oh, good Lord, I don't want to monologue with all of you, but I do not know. The chat just went bye-bye. Let me see what I can do. Oh, shoot. This is where you wish you had somebody to help you,